Dallas police chief talks about a 9-month-long NBC5 investigation.
Chief David Brown tells us he does not want officers typing on computers while driving unless it is a dire emergency. The chief gave his very first interview since NBC5 uncovered crashes all across Texas caused by officers distracted by computers in their cars. Investigative reporter Scott Freeman has the latest on an investigation that's really gained national attention here.
Well, we've been trying to figure out, does the Dallas Police Department allow officers to type while driving? At first, the department told us yes. Now the chief says no. From Arlington to Austin, from Tarrant County to the city of Dallas, videos showing distracted police officers crashing while using an MDC, a mobile dashboard computer.
We prohibit using the MDC while driving, unless it's to save a life.
Dallas Police Chief David Brown says his department does not allow officers to type and drive. He believes his rules are crystal clear.
We're still trying to understand where it's gray. We see it very clearly. It's prohibited except for emergency situations.
The chief's comments surprised us because we can't find anything in Dallas Police Department policies prohibiting officers from typing on an MDC while driving. And months ago, one of Brown's top commanders indicated there was no policy.
We rely on their judgment and on their discretion. We're not telling them to do it. We're not telling them not to do it.
Other departments have policies that say, just don't type while the car is moving. Why not do that?
Like as I said earlier, we're looking at that. We're studying our policies to see if indeed it is it practical.
But now Chief Brown says there was a policy all along. He says the city banned typing while driving more than 2 years ago. Why can't we find that in the police department's rules? Because it's not there. Instead, the chief says this City Hall Human Resources Department driving policy covers MDCs, even though it doesn't mention them by name. The HR department rules hold city drivers accountable for the reckless and irresponsible use of electronic devices while operating a vehicle. But there's an exception for police. Emergency response personnel acting within the scope of their official duties may utilize electronic devices while driving, if the device is essential for the nature of the emergency response and another employee is not available to utilize the device.
The exception is, I think, where the biggest part of this debate is what's an emergency situation and when can they do it and when can't they do it.
Other police departments have more detailed MDC rules, telling officers exactly what they can and can't do. Arlington police limit typing to one-button responses when the car is moving. Fort Worth even requires officers to pull over to read the screen if there's heavy traffic. The Tarrant County Sheriff tells deputies to use the radio to request some information instead of typing. Brown says his department doesn't need such a detailed policy.
I'm saying our department is maybe much different than other departments you've looked at, and we just don't see, from our experience, officers using the computer and causing accidents.
Dallas police say MDCs have caused 17 crashes in 4 years. Videos show officers rear-ending other drivers and running off the road. In one case where there's no video, an accident report shows a Dallas police officer using the MDC crossed the center line and hit another car head-on. But those 17 crashes barely register on the department's radar because it's 17 out of more than 2,600 in 4 years. That's right, Dallas police crash at a rate of 12 times a week, so MDC crashes make up just a fraction.
Our driving accidents are down 26%. Our MDC usage accidents are 1% of our total accidents. That may be much different for another city, and their policies may reflect that.
Plaintiff's attorney Trey Branham represents people seriously injured in accidents. He says if Dallas gets sued over an MDC crash, the city will have a harder time defending itself than other cities with more detailed policies.
If you were the attorney advising the city of Dallas, what would you tell them to do?
Get real specific. What's the harm? You can make exceptions and you can make specific exceptions if you feel like you need them. But there's no harm at all in being very specific about what you want your officers doing and what you don't want them doing and when you want them doing it.
Chief Brown says he wants to leave more leeway to protect officers who might need to type and drive if their life is in danger.
It would be I'm shot at. Another citizen is shot, bleeding. I can't get radio transmission. All I had was that computer to communicate with the dispatcher to get me help.
For the same reason, Brown's not sure he wants to install devices that lock the keyboard when the car moves. But he's interested to see how they work in cities like Farmers Branch.
So you'll be watching these things as other departments do them to see how it works.
Very closely. I think you struck a chord with this series. I think you really have prompted law enforcement to look at something that maybe we just may have just taken for granted, that putting so much technology in the car could overwhelm an officer.
So why did DPD first tell us there were no rules against typing and driving? We reached out to Deputy Chief Rick Watson to clarify his earlier comments. He has not responded. Chief Brown's office tells us they have no more information on that. If you want to hear more of the Chief's interview, we posted the entire video at NBCDFW.com. Mark and Amanda, this debate over police computers is going on all over the country right now. In fact, the International Association of Chiefs of Police is having a meeting in a couple of weeks to talk about new guidelines for police departments. They want to help prevent crashes and keep officers and other drivers safe.
Wow.
Well, the first step's admitting you have a problem, right?
Got it.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.